Hello, ladies. Amazing. Today, we're going to talk through why eating the same thing every day is a huge mistake. And I know so many of you do it. And I want to educate you why so you can change that a little bit in a way that isn't too hard. Okay. So if you are not in our free Facebook group, make sure you head over to Macro Tracking and Weightlifting for Women and get in there so we can give you lots of free resources, free education, tons of videos, and of course, I'm in there as well. So any questions you have, you can just shoot me a message. Okay, beautiful. Let's talk through it. Please say hello as you're coming on so I know that you're here. All right, so as always, I'm going to reference my notes here. Okay, so here is the problem. You're eating the same thing every day because it's easy. It's so convenient. It's what you know it works usually, and it's just much less complicated than throwing in that variety. But the problem that's going to happen, or that may already be happening, is you're going to get really bored of it. And you might say, you know what, Kristen, I hear you, but I'm not that bored of it. It's okay. Yeah, but eventually you will, because eating the exact same thing every day for the rest of your life is not sustainable, right? So just in general, your compliance is going to start to suffer at some point because you're going to get really bored of it. Another thing, this is the main issue, ladies, is you're not getting a variety of vitamins and minerals. When this happens, your hormones are usually very negatively affected and their function. So when you're vitamin or mineral deficient, you start to have hormonal issues, okay? So when you're eating the same thing day after day after day, you're not getting a variety of vitamins and minerals. You're getting the same thing over and over and over, which typically means you're going to become deficient in other vitamins, right, that are not in those foods. So that is really like the bread and butter issue of eating the same thing every day. But there's another one. So vitamin deficiency, right, for negatively impacting your hormonal health and function, but also you're not really learning any sustainable habits. It's kind of like a quick fix, right? The problem with quick fixes is they never work. They never work long term. Never. They're doing nothing. A meal plan is a quick fix. It's a waste of time. I get it in the beginning, maybe, but it doesn't teach you anything long term. It's like teach a man to fish. Don't just throw a fish at it, right? You got to learn. You have to learn or you'll never master it. It's like you'll keep searching for that quick fix. We must learn, okay? So when you're eating the same thing over and over, you're learning no habits. You're just learning how to be good for a time and follow something for a time. So I'm going to give you a really easy solution. For some of you, you might be like, sweet piece of cake. I'm going to take it and run with it. I got this unlocked. For others of you, this might be overwhelming, and that's okay. One step at a time, one change at a time. You don't have to change your whole menu. You can pick one thing at a time to kind of get your feet under you, okay? So it's okay to eat the same thing for like 2 to 3 days in a row, but then switch it up. Don't eat the same thing week after week after week, 7 days a week, right? It's crazy. So if you're still learning to cook or if you're still learning how to track your macros, here's some easy swaps, and then I'll give you some examples as well. Just swap out your vegetable. That's it. Green beans for okra or for eggplant. Eggplant is so good, ladies. If you guys have never had it, get yourself an eggplant and roast that baby. It is so good. I'm telling you, it's like shockingly delicious. Salt, pepper, whatever else you want on it. You can swap it out for butternut squash. You can get that frozen, right? You can get green beans frozen, broccoli. Put your pan on medium heat, maybe medium to high. Let it heat up. You can put some pan spray in there. Put the frozen veg right on the pan. Don't touch them. Let all the water cook out. Let them brown up. So I would stir them like every 5 minutes or so. Seriously, let them brown up. Spray a little more pan spray, do some seasoning, salt and pepper. They're very good. But if you cook them a lot, they're super mushy, right? And really nasty. So just change your vegetable. Zucchini, right? Peppers, okay? Go to the grocery store and say, okay, I've never really eaten that, so let me try this, okay? You can Google, how do I roast eggplant or whatever it is. And it takes very little effort and very little time. This is also going to show you different cooking techniques. So you're going to get way faster, but it takes stepping out of your comfort zone. It takes doing things that don't feel as convenient because it's important to learn how to prioritize our health and fitness and not just give it our leftover time. I fully understand how tempting sometimes that is, but it's usually never the way. If your fitness and nutrition doesn't have enough time, something else needs to change. Because if we want to be present for our family, if we want to be a leader for our staff or whatever role you have, your patients, whatever it is, you got to take care of yourself first. Right? We lead from the front, we lead by example. If we're overweight and unhealthy and not physically fit, that's not showing a good, or it's not teaching or showing a good example for those around us. And so it's, if people out there still think it's selfish to take care of yourself, how can you take care of everybody else when you're not even physically capable to take care of them or yourself, right? We must take care of ourselves. I always tangent. Here's one more tangent. There's always a way. Let me tell you the things on my plate for a second and how I'm fitting the things in, okay? I am my son's only parent. My ex-husband, his dad ran out on us when he was an infant. We've never heard from him since. I am his only parent. We don't have any family support. We got nothing. Okay, it's me and him. All right, it's been like that for 5.5 years now. 5 years. So it's all me and him. Okay, he's here right now. I homeschool him because of some ADHD issues. I'm currently working on my PhD. I'm only doing one class at a time, but I'm doing that. I'm writing a book, which I don't have to do all the time because I don't have to do it for income, right? But I love teaching people and helping them and their heart and their soul, their mind, all those things. I run a business, right? This Queens of Iron. And I have to cook for my family. I have to clean my house. I have to make all the money for the family. I do everything. My time is like insanely limited. And so right now I'm getting up at 4:00 in the morning. I do Bible study. I work out. My son gets up. We do hygiene. I cook breakfast. We do homeschool, right? And then it's like, I'm still working all throughout the day, even when we're doing the things. So it's like, I could easily say, I have no time to do anything, but I have to say, okay, you know what? Instead of getting my 8 hours of sleep right now, I got to go to 6.5 or 7. Is 6.5 a great amount of time to sleep? Not at all. No, it's not. A minimum of 7 is so much better for your recovery, for your health, for muscle growth and things like that. But sometimes you just have to make sacrifices, but your fitness and nutrition should not be the sacrifice, right? Now, am I sacrificing training 5 days a week? And am I only training 3 days a week? Yes. Have there been weeks where I'm like, oh crap, I didn't work out at all because everything did not go according to plan and it was a total mess. And wow, that was not good. Yes, and that's okay. So we keep reworking the schedule. Okay, what if I do this? What if I put my workout here? What if I cook here? What if I do this here? What if I Instacart every grocery run instead of doing it myself? Yes, it cost me $5 extra, but it saves me 2 hours of time, which is worth more than $5, right? So when it feels like I have zero amount of time, there's always a way. But what I find it takes is self-discipline. I don't watch any TV. I have no time for that. My kid goes to bed, I'm back to school, or I'm back to work, or I'm back to whatever. Could I take one of those things off my plate? I could, but I want to make a bigger impact on the world, right? A lot of you, your day job, you have to work 40 hours per week, right? I used to have to do that too, 80 hours per week when I was growing this business, right? You have to take your time to train. If that's your lunch break at work, go do it. And you're like, oh, but I'm so tired. I just want to sit there and eat. Let's sacrifice the comfort, go get uncomfortable because it will serve you way longer and you'll actually have more energy and you can eat, you can train for 45 minutes and eat for 15. You're like, I only have a 30-minute lunch break. Amazing. Work out for 20 and eat for 10. You know what I mean? There's always a way. There's 100% of the time a way that's going to take you getting uncomfortable and it's going to take you doing it when you don't feel like it. But you know what's cool about that? The more you do that, you're like, oh my gosh, I really can do this when I don't feel like it. I found that with school the other day. I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to do this. I'm like, dude, I have to do it. I have no other time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually do it when I don't feel like doing it. I'm really serious. So the more you do that, the more it builds confidence. Like, okay, I literally can do this. And when you totally drop the ball and don't do it, don't beat yourself up for it. Just say, okay, I'm doing a lot and I'm doing my best. I'm just going to keep getting up and keep trying again. Okay. All right, back to the food examples. So I talked about just switching your veggie, just switching one thing at a time, just switching your veggie. Another thing to do is just switching your meat source. I hate cooking meat. I don't think I'm good at it. It sucks for me. So here's how I have meat at home. Egg whites is amazing for breakfast, right? You cook them, but it's easy, right? Really lean, naturally. I do one of two things usually for chicken, like 99% of the time. I'll either get a rotisserie chicken, I'll take all the skin off because it's icky fat. I don't want to use my fat source for that. I want to use my fat source for something more healthy. It's okay to have some skin, but just be wise about your fat source, right? So I take all the skin out, take all the bones out. You have this amazing Tupperware of pretty lean chicken, okay? In my fitness pal or whatever you use, rotisserie chicken, no skin. You'll see those macros, okay? It's usually like 30 grams of protein and like only 4 grams of fat for, I think, like maybe 110 grams of chicken, if I recall correctly. I don't really track that much anymore, right? You don't have to after you master it, which is great, which is why we're here to teach you so many habits so you don't have to track forever. But it's a great fallback. Okay. The other thing I do is at many markets, you can get like a container of already pulled white meat chicken. It's wonderful. We do that every single week. It takes no prep at all. It's just there for you. That's literally pretty much what we do. Sometimes I'll get salmon, the same thing. It's already cooked for me at the grocery store. I suck at cooking meat. It takes forever. And so I just don't do it. So to change the meat source, I'm thinking Whole Foods. They also have steak. We do turkey burgers, like pre-made, right? So we either do turkey burgers, we do rotisserie chicken, or we do pulled chicken. We eat out several times per week as well. So we get a lot of seafood, right? When we eat out, stuff like that, whitefish, shellfish, things like that. So I'm not the best at teaching you how to cook meat, but those are some really easy ways to get meat, okay? The reason I like to eat out so much is because as a solo mom, I don't have to do so many dishes and I can take like an hour to have peace instead of mom, I need this. And I'm trying to cook and the dog is being crazy. And then there's all these dishes and it's like mitigating the stress, right? And so you choose healthy options. If you need help with how to choose healthy options when you're eating out, if you're not sure how to go about that, shoot me a message. We'll talk through it. I have tons of strategies to help you with eating out, tons, okay? All right, so now another really easy swap is your fruit source, right? Watermelon, grab a melon baller. You can get that watermelon out really quick. Bam, you have a beautiful Tupperware of watermelon. Grapes, no prep. Strawberries, right? Berries, you can do frozen. We do frozen cherries. I'm like pointing to my son. We do frozen cherries, and sometimes we make smoothies for breakfast. We put usually arugula or like mixed green salad. It tastes great, and he doesn't mind that it's in there because it's blended up, right? So we do frozen cherries, ice, almond milk, arugula, chocolate whey protein, and then peanut butter, and it's called like mood powder. It's like cinnamon, some other stuff in there. I think that's it. It's delicious. It's like a nutrient bomb and you get a lot of protein, and my son will down that thing. You can change it to bananas, right? So small changes like that keep your diet exciting, but most importantly is it gives you different vitamins and minerals to make sure you're really taking care of your body, taking care of your hormones, have just general natural energy, right? And again, it helps you be compliant because it keeps your food exciting and interesting, right? Okay, 2 more. The other one is swapping your carb source. Rice, potatoes, sweet potato versus red potato. There's different vitamins and minerals in there. You can cook them the same way if you want, right? Or change the cooking source. Both, right? Change the source and the cooking source. Like throw them in a pot of boiling water to make mashed potatoes. Or I personally just chop them up and I saute them on the pan. That's just how my family will eat them. You can put them in your egg white omelet in the morning, right? You can put them with meat and veg and make a bowl, right? Just kind of dice up a bowl. You can put them in a salad, right? They're so versatile. What else do we do for our carb source? I feel like we do a ton of fruit and a ton of vegetables. We do like perfect bars, which I know is a lot of fat, but there's carbs in there too. We do Clio bars. What else sometimes we'll do pasta, but we literally bought banana pasta. It's like it's the ingredient is purple banana. It's very weird. We haven't tried it yet. But it's like, just look through the aisle and find something different. And usually the cooking method is pretty similar. So it's not like it takes you much more work, but it's different. Barley, farro, couscous. We love couscous, and quinoa and rice. All those cooking methods are pretty much the same, but the vitamins and minerals are different. It keeps it exciting, and it changes it up for your family too, right? One more quick tangent. People ask me all the time, how does your kid eat all that? We never order off the kids' menu. I think it's disgusting. They don't even have any nutrition, unless it's a nice place that's like a burger, right? But they just have such crappy nutrition. Grilled cheese, plain noodles and butter, or a hot dog. I'm like, no, you're not eating that crap. Like, oh my gosh, it's junk food, right? He does not eat that. He eats normal entree. People say, how do you get him to eat that? I say, the first thought came to my mind. I'm like, I force him. It's not that I force him, but he's always eating different variety, which helps him not be picky. Few and far between, he'll try to say, I don't like that. And I say, that's okay, buddy. What an amazing opportunity to have an adventure bite. And you know what's cool? The more you try something, the more you like it. So put on your thinking cap or your adventure cap and say, I think I'm going to like this one, and then keep trying it. It works probably, what's that movie quote? 85% of the time, it works every time. It actually works really well. But it's my, what am I trying to say? Not response, but it's like my reaction. It's how I react to the food. Sometimes we'll get this appetizer that's like cauliflower with tahini sauce, I think it's called, that like nut sauce or whatever it is. And I eat it. I'm like, oh, this is so good. Like, I totally exaggerate it. He takes the bite. This is his reaction. Oh, Mom, this is so good. I'm like, yeah, dude, right? So watch your reaction. If you're eating shrimp and you're like, oh, that kind of stinks, your kid is 100% of the time going to think that. They're not going to like healthy food on their own usually. I'm very adamant about having him try new things. That kid will eat tuna tartare. He loves it. He eats salmon. I mean, he eats all the things, but it's been extremely intentional, right? If your kids are a little bit older, I mean, it depends on the kid. My kid loves competition and he loves games. And so it's like, if I can make a competition out of it, like, I bet I can eat more pieces than you. He's like, oh no, you ain't. Then he'll start eating more of it, right? Or like, I usually don't do like a huge bite. So, I don't want him to practice stuffing his face. Like, you have to be so intentional. But same goes for you, ladies. If you're feeling like, I don't really like vegetables. Did you know, ladies, our taste buds change every 2 weeks? 2 weeks, our taste buds are renewing. Here's a story. When I was in college, way back in the day, sometimes I look at college kids, I'm like, am I really that old? It's like the weirdest thing. It's very weird. Not saying I'm old. I know so many of you are older than me. I'm not saying that. Okay. Anyway, I really wanted to like sushi. I hated seafood. I thought it was foul, but I really wanted to like it because I thought sushi was cool, honestly, and I knew it was good for me. But I thought it was so disgusting. I hated all fish, actually. And I was committed to liking it. This is a very real story. Everything I share is very real. And I said, I'm going to like it. And so I kept trying it. Key number one, I kept trying it and trying it and trying it and trying it. And my mind, I told my mind to believe, I really like this. I really like this. I really like this. And eventually I loved it. I love seafood now. I could not stand it before. Another story with how the mind really plays a massive role, and you can do this for vegetables, ladies. I hear some of you saying, I don't really like vegetables. It's like, Mama, wake up. Come on. Keep trying them, right? Cook them differently. I challenge my son loads physically, loads, because I want him to build confidence and I want him to learn that as his lifestyle, right? So sometimes he's 5, you guys, by the way. Sometimes he says, oh, my legs are so tired, like for on a bike ride or whatever. And so I teach him about grit. I teach him about heart. But then I say, son, it's your body giving up. It's not your mind. He's like, no, my mind is saying that I'm done. I say, you tell your mind what to do. You say, I am strong. I am powerful. I can do it. And then I'm not joking. I'm up there and I'm like, you are strong. And I'm like out loud, like shouting these things. He gets up and he goes. The same thing for adults, the same thing for us. it might sound silly, but it's true. We have to champion ourselves. So if it's like, I hate vegetables, it's like, I'm not making fun. Okay, sorry. But it's like, I can do it. I can do it. I'm super healthy. Bam, here's another story actually that goes right along with that. I've never shared this with anyone in my whole life. So here goes. This is what always happens on videos, like my heart word vomits. I was struggling a little bit. Oh, I'm about to cry. I've never shared this. Okay. I was struggling a little bit body-wise because of this homeschool. My training has been inconsistent while I've been trying to figure out our schedule. It's not like I've just been sitting on my butt. It's exhausting, right? Doing everything and being everything. And it's crazy. And so I struggled, and I was struggling with my self-image, and I was struggling with what I saw in the mirror, and I was struggling with the scale and all these things. And I found that what I was saying to myself was not kind. And so, yeah, it's like, be kind to yourself. And that was cool and all. And it is true. And, I had to practice those things. But here's the real key. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest thought. Let me repeat that. Let this sink in. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest thought. So I said, oh, shoot. I better stop thinking all those negative things because I don't want my life to go that way. So I started to say, you are healthy and fit and strong, and I'm proud of you, and you can do all these things. Every time I looked in the mirror, you are healthy and fit and strong. Yeah, woman, let's go. You are healthy and fit and strong. You know what? Without even thinking about it, my life in the last 2 days has completely changed habit-wise. And now I'm about to start jujitsu 5 days a week at night. What? With all this stuff schedule-wise, I'm like, yeah, I swapped out something, right? To have that time. And it was like such a subconscious thing. But now more activity, more health, more mental and physical wellness suddenly has entered my life. Isn't that interesting? Yet when I was like, oh, you do not look good right now, girl. You gained a few pounds. I can see it in your tummy. I can see it in your love handles. My life didn't get better. It got worse. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest thought. So make sure your strongest thought is where you want it to go. For those who believe in Jesus, the Bible says, take your thoughts captive. And you're like, okay, now what? Take your thoughts captive and change them. You change them, what the Bible says, in obedience to God, right? So God says you are loved, you are unique, you are cherished, you are honorable, all these things, right? So if you hear a thought of, I'm worthless, it's like, oh, that's a lie. I'm going to take it captive. I'm calling you a liar. And I'm going to replace it with the truth that I'm actually really worthy and loved. I don't feel that way, but I'm going to keep putting the truth in my heart, and eventually my life will go in that direction, and suddenly I'll know it, see it, believe it, all the things, right? So take those icky thoughts captive and replace them with truth, even when you don't feel like it. It makes a world of a difference, okay? Especially for those who struggle with body image, which is like almost all women ever, right? Okay, that's all I have for today. So quick recap for those who came on later and I was on another topic. So quick recap. Eating the same thing every day can cause a nutrient deficiency, which negatively impacts hormones and their function. Okay, so a nutrient, so vitamins and minerals, deficiency usually and will negatively impact your hormones and their function. But when you eat a variety of foods, healthy whole foods, you're getting a variety of vitamins and minerals, and your body naturally is going to function much better. You're going to feel better with your energy. Like things are just going to be kicking much how they're supposed to properly, right? The other thing is compliance. When you eat the same thing every day, it's super boring. It's boring for your family. Eventually, your compliance will be in the tank, as will your motivation, self-discipline for eating healthy. So make sure you're getting a variety. If you want a list of different foods in each macro, you can comment foods and I'll send that over to you. If you want it faster, shoot me a message. That's the fastest way I can get it because you're in my face right away, right? So I'm like, oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. Oh, now I have time for the comments, right? So I'll get that over to you. Ladies, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for tuning into my videos. I value you so much, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon.